My 18th birthday, the High King summoned the heirs of the 4 great clans, the vampires, the werewolves, the High Serpent clan, and the merfolk.
Choose one to be your bondmate.
I choose him. The entire court erupted in disbelief. Everyone knew who I used to love. In my previous life, I got what I wanted. I married him and we performed the mate bonding ceremony. With that union, he inherited the High King's resources and rose to become the ruler of all 4 clans. Only 3 days after our bonding ceremony, he didn't stop when he saw me standing there. My parents were furious when they found out and immediately sent her away. From that day on, Iris hated me with a vengeance. He surrounded himself with women who all looked eerily like. The suffering pushed me into severe depression. Only suppressants kept my wolf form from spiraling out of control. Until one day, my medication was replaced with a slow-acting poison. I died alone, locked away in the cold palace, a child still growing inside me. So when the High King once again asked me to choose a partner for the marriage alliance, I chose Damon, the one no one ever noticed, without even blinking. My love had never even nudged his heart. I had just stepped out of the High King's grand palace when I bumped into Iris and his wolfish crew. The heirs of the 4 great clans took one look at me.
Back to Haunt Alpha, Iris, Sophie. You've got guts, I'll give you that. You'll stop at nothing to chase after a guy. Aren't you worried your late heroic granddad's watching from above, shaking his head in disappointment? What's your angle this time? Hoping the High King will go to bat for you again? Still harboring on that ancient favor your grandpa did for him in the war? How many times can your family play that card? You've turned this into royal court gossip, dragging my name through the mud. I won't mark you as mine, not even if you beg the moon goddess herself.
My love had never even nudged his heart. This has nothing to do with you. The High King called for me. He's going to lead my coming-of-age ceremony himself tomorrow. The words hung in the air, and the heirs who had not quite disappeared stopped dead in their—
The High King is personally overseeing your ceremony?
Sure, you'll be my Lunar in name.
I understood their shock. The High King had long since stepped back from such formalities, often sending others in his stead for even his own kin's events. In a world of werewolves, vampires, the High Serpent clan, and merfolk, I stood among them as a pure-blood werewolf. With a lineage untainted, I was seen as the ideal partner for the next generation.
Way to go, Alpha Iris, you're set for life.
Don't forget about us when you're on top. The High King's got your back, and now you're the real deal, the next in line for the throne.
You've been pining after me for years, and now you've got your wish. Does that feel good? Just so we're clear, I'm laying down the law to avoid any future drama. This whole mate contract thing is just for show. Sure, you'll be my Lunar in name, but don't even think about butting into my personal life or trying to boss me and my wolf around. Play by my rules, and I might just be persuaded to mark you.
Running after her again? How pathetic. I angered him. I was seizing with anger at his outrageous demands. It was beyond ridiculous. A thought struck me. Could it be? Had he been reborn too? Sophie. I turned to see Ruby in a stunning velvet gown, her eyes rimmed with red, coughing softly.
You're still not well. What are you doing out here?
Dad sent me. He worried my sister would be lonely in the royal court all by herself.
Aren't you a delicate one needing company just to leave the house? Can't you see that Ruby's sick? Sophie, if you keep acting like you're better than Ruby and picking on her, forget about me joining you in that bonding ceremony. You go ahead first. I'll catch up in a moment.
Running after her again? How pathetic. I angered him. Are you really that afraid of being alone with me, Alpha? Or do you know that if you touch me, you might not be able to control yourself? His large hand wrapped around my throat as his mouth crashed down on mine in a fierce, punishing kiss.
Iris's eyes flashed with dangerous fury.
In the next second, he spun around, grabbed my wrist with bruising force, and dragged me into the shadowed side corridor.
The moment the door of the small empty chamber slammed shut behind us, he shoved me hard against the wall.
His large hand wrapped around my throat as his mouth crashed down on mine in a fierce, punishing kiss.
There was no gentleness, only raw dominance and anger.
His tongue invaded aggressively.
Iris suddenly spun me around, pinning me chest first against the cold stone wall.
He gripped my hip tightly and yanked my hair back, his scorching lips attacking the back of my neck, kissing and biting down my spine as if marking his territory.
Get the fuck off me, you bastard!
Disgusting.
Let go!
With all my strength, I slammed my heel backward and kicked him hard between the legs.
Iris let out a pained grunt and staggered back, releasing me.
Even if you didn't love me, could you at least pretend to care about decency? Touch me again and I'll make sure you regret it for the rest of your life.
He glared at me with dark, furious eyes, but didn't step closer this time.
Iris, buddy, it's actually me who's interested in this bonding ceremony with you. I mused silently. It was the day of the coming-of-age ceremony. The ceremony had wrapped up, and the guests had trickled out when I finally made my way in, walking a little awkwardly. His eyes swept the room and landed on Ruby. He strode over to her, whispered something in her ear, and Vivian giggled, swatting his chest playfully. The two of them fell into easy banter. In the past, that would have made me lose my cool. One was a guy I had been crushing on forever, and the other was my half-sister. Even if you didn't love me, could you at least pretend to care about decency?
So here, this is for you.
But now, I simply turned away and busied myself with something else, refusing to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. Iris caught my look, especially that brief pause, and his smirk faltered for just a moment.
The angry outburst he had been waiting for never came, and he could not help but throw a jab my way.
You're not just pretending not to care because you're scared I'll change my mind, are you?
All right, you're playing it cool today. Since you know I will be the next High King, it's obvious I won't be tied down to just one girl for life. I'll have plenty of lovers.
However, you did behave yourself today. So here, this is for you.
Wow! It's gorgeous! Isn't this the true love gem from Lord of Winter Health? You can't even buy these!
You like it? Then it's yours.
I can't possibly take this. It's a special gift you picked out for my sister.
She deliberately raised the box a little higher, so everyone around could see it clearly.
Sister, look how beautiful this gem is. Alpha Iris said it's a true love gem. You can't even buy a second one from the Lord of Winternhout.
Her voice was neither too loud nor too soft, just enough for the nearby tables to hear.
Keep it. I'll just get something else for her. She treasures anything that comes from me anyway.
The room filled with low chuckles from the other clan heirs. The heirs exchanged looks of anticipation for a good show.
Sophie's going to explode now, right?
Just wait for the drama. Ruby's smile stiffened for a split second. Ruby, stretch out your hand. What do you mean? Ruby looked at me warily, but didn't move. What? Afraid I'll steal your treasure? Don't worry, I don't want it. Ruby hesitated, then finally stretched out her hand, still clutching the wooden box tightly. I smiled. Not this one, the other hand. I took her wrist, turned it over so her palm faced up. Then I unclasped the thin silver chain from my own wrist, the one my mother had given me on my 16th birthday, with a wolf fang pendant, a family heirloom talisman. I placed the silver chain in Ruby's palm. It's yours. Ruby's eyes widened in shock. What do you mean? Ruby, ever since we were little, you've always thought everything of mine was better than yours. My room was bigger, my dresses were prettier, and if Father looked at me one extra time, you'd cry in the garden all afternoon. You think everyone favors me and that I took what should have been yours. But have you ever thought the things you desperately want have never meant much to me? It has a wolfbane coating. I glanced at the so-called true love gem, the corner of my mouth curving slightly. Take that stone, for example. The Lord of Winterhole's true love gem. Do you know how many he produces in a year? Soft whispers spread through the hall. You're lying! The Winterhold mines produce 300 true love gems every year. About 100 of them are high quality. The reason you can't buy one is because merchants deliberately hoard them to drive up the price. It's just a marketing gimmick, not some rare treasure. I paused and looked at Iris. His expression had already darkened. Of course, Alpha Iris might not have known that. After all, he never checks the price tag when he buys things, right? Someone in the crowd couldn't hold back a laugh. Ruby bit her lip, gripping the silver chain tightly, but she didn't return it. She couldn't bear to. As for this silver chain, I took half a step forward, leaned close to her, and lowered my voice so only she could hear. It has a wolfbane coating. Did you feel it?
Sophie, you've really done your homework.
Ruby's face turned deathly pale. She jerked her hand open and the silver chain fell to the ground with a clink. I bent down, picked it up slowly, and fastened it back onto my wrist. Just kidding. It's ordinary silver. I smiled at her. Ruby's face flushed and paled alternately, as if she had been slapped in public. The surrounding snickers grew louder. Did she actually believe it? Look at her face. She's terrified. Ruby's eyes reddened, her lips trembling as if she was about to cry. She turned to Iris, her voice shaking. Alpha Iris, she's bullying me. Iris' expression was extremely ugly. He knew what I said about the gem was true. He might not have known before, but he couldn't afford to lose face now. He shot me a warning look that also said, just you wait. But he didn't explode, because losing his temper would be the same as admitting he had been scammed.
Sophie, you've really done your homework.
It's not homework. I just don't buy things based only on how expensive they are, unlike some people. Yes, I did love him. The words were like a soft blade. Iris clenched his fists. The crowd gasped. This was a direct slap to the face. But I wasn't finished. I picked up an empty wine glass from the table, raised it, and turned to everyone present. Everyone, while we're here, I'd like to say something. The hall fell completely silent. I know there are many rumors circulating that I've been desperately chasing Alpha Iris, that I slit my wrist in a blood pact for him, that I'll never marry anyone but him. Most of those rumors are true. Yes, I did love him. For many years. But today, standing here, I want to tell everyone one thing. I set down the wine glass and swept my calm gaze across every face in the room.
I don't love him anymore. The moment those 3 words landed, the entire banquet hall seemed to freeze. So when you gossip behind my back in the future, please update your information.
From today onward, there is nothing between Alpha, Iris, and me. It's not of spite, not a tactic, not playing hard to get. I simply don't love him anymore.
I looked at Iris. His expression was complicated, anger, unwillingness, and above all, disbelief. He probably never imagined that one day I would say those 3 words to his face in front of everyone.
So when you gossip behind my back in the future, please update your information.
I smiled. The current Sophie is not anyone's accessory. I don't need a true love gem to prove anything. The banquet hall stayed silent for a full 3 seconds. Then, from a corner, came a soft round of applause. It was Mara, the elder from the Night Shadow clan. She raised her wine glass and gave me a slight nod. More scattered applause followed. Not loud, but enough. Ruby's face could no longer be described as simply ugly. Her carefully planned gem showcase had turned into a public execution. As for Iris, he stared at me with eyes full of poison, but he couldn't say a word, because no matter what he said in this situation, it would only make him look worse. I turned around, walked back to my seat, sat down, picked up my wine glass, and took a jip.
I know you aren't one to let things go. Do you really think I can't see right through you?
Just like that, a flood of memories I had kept locked away came crashing back. I was transported to that snowy Christmas when I had trud through the storm to give him a present, only to get soaked to the bone. He tossed his cloak at me and casually said,
Don't catch a cold.
I had clung to that cloak like a priceless treasure, hiding it for years, until he caught me one day, secretly inhaling its scent. His face turned stormy, and he shouted,
You're pathetic.
The High King had to intervene, tapping him with his cane.
She's just a kid. Watch your words.
He shut up then, but he ensured the story spread to every heir of every clan. I became the butt of everyone's jokes. With that memory burning in my mind, I spun on my heel, ready to escape the party I had grown trying to loathe. However, Iris stepped in front of me, blocking my
Leaving
path.
so soon? I know you aren't one to let things go. Do you really think I can't see right through you? You're nothing but a jealous, spiteful she-wolf.
You really want to marry him? Be stuck with a weakler wolf for life?
He grabbed my wrist, his grip firm and hot. For a second, neither of us moved. His thumb brushed slowly over my pulse point, sending an unwelcome spark through my body. His scent, dark pine and musk, wrapped around me, too familiar and dangerously intoxicating. I yanked my wrist back, but the heat of his touch lingered on my skin.
Alpha Iris, you'd better watch your tone.
He let out a deurious laugh.
Watch my tone. You're the one who's been begging me to mark you. We're destined to end up together, so why play innocent?
I met his gaze and said, each word deliberate and clear, "Who said I'd ever choose you as my mate?" The room went dead quiet. The wolves around me erupted in laughter, their howls echoing off the walls. His face was a mask of ice.
Who else could you possibly choose? You were so head over wheels for me. Would you ever be happy to marry anyone else? I come from the Silver Moon Pack, the mightiest of all werewolf packs, and I carry the noblest Lycon blood. Sure, Alpha Damon's decent enough, but his lineage is nothing special, no match for mine. Apparently his wolf is quite weak. He was poisoned with wolf bear a few years ago. His stamina's never been the same since then. You really want to marry him? Be stuck with a weakler wolf for life?
So what if you marry Alpha Iris? His heart will always belong to me. Every eye in the room was on me, waiting for my answer. Just then, Damon made his way into the hall, looking frail, struggling to walk at any speed. Muffled laughter spread through the crowd as I was about to declare that I would choose to marry Damon. However, the High King's words echoed in my mind.
If your heart truly lies with Damon, I'll honor your choice.
However, keep it under wraps for now. Once the dust settles, the truth will come out.
I bit back my words, hesitating. I got the High King's point. With all those heirs from different clans watching, each hungry for power, I could not just blutter out my feelings. So, I decided to let them think what they wanted and walked away from that choking atmosphere.
On the drive home, Ruby and I shared a car. She flicked her wrist, and the gems in her box glittered so intensely I had to squint.
So what if you marry Alpha Iris? His heart will always belong to me, her voice dripping with challenge. I leaned back in my seat, a slow smile curling across my lips. His heart? Ruby's eyes narrowed. Ruby, let me tell you something about men. I tilted my head, watching her face carefully. At least Iris sleeps with me. And you know what they say? Where a man's lower path goes, his heart follows.
The car went dead silent. Ruby's smug expression froze on her face, then cracked.
You! Her voice came out shrilly, nothing like the sweet, innocent tone she put on for everyone else.
You're lying!
Am I? I shrugged. You saw how we walked in today. My legs were still shaking. His neck? Those scratches weren't from you, were they? Ruby's breathing turned rattied. She looked like she wanted to claw my eyes out, but all she could do was sit there, fuming, because she knew I wasn't lying.
You're disgusting!
She spit finally, her voice trembling with rage. I smiled. Maybe. But at least I'm not delusional. Your blessing? No thanks. Rablet was like two different people. To the world, she was the picture of sweetness and innocence, but when we were alone, her true colors came out, sharp and dangerous. She was curled up in Iris's arms, this life, a scared little wolf, while Iris clutched her close as if he was protecting her from me. I felt like I would break down right then and there. Later, my parents sent Ruby off to some small town and married her to a high serpent king who was always off fighting wars.
She had it way easier than I did.
However, I decided to let her stick with Iris in this life. I was curious to see how that would turn out. Why should I care where his heart is? If you're so into him, go ahead and let him mark you. I hope the moon goddess blesses you too, I said, though I did not mean it. Ruby paused, then smirked and laughed. Your blessings? No thanks. They might be cursed. However, no matter what, Alpha Iris is mine. Why did you hit me? Thanksgiving rolled around, and my dad had me take a gift to the High King. I walked into the royal court, and there was Ruby, all dolled up in a red dress and dripping with jewels, looking like $1,000,000. She caught my eye and gave me that little smile. Sophie, do you like my dress? Alpha Iris gave it to me. I told him I wasn't into all this bling, but he wouldn't take no for an answer. He said I deserved the best. I was annoyed and tried to walk away, but one blocked my path. Sophie, can't we just talk? You look so down. I get it, it's tough. Feelings can be a real pain to deal with, she said, and then she started crying. However, it was all an act. I tried to shove her aside, but she collapsed with a dramatic gasp, clutching her leg and wailing about the pain. Why did you hit me? I'm your little sister!
Right then, Wolfman burst through the door, his eyes blazing as he took in the scene.
Sophie, what the heck are you doing? How could you be so cruel to your sister? That's just evil!
I could not help it. I burst out laughing, looking from Iris to Ruby. Ruby, I have to hand it to you. Your little act is pretty convincing. You're quite the piece of work.
Sophie must be desperate for a guy. She'd even take down her sister. That's low.
Don't you dare talk about Ruby that way.
The sting on my cheek felt like a burn, and my inner wolf seethed with anger. I wanted to lash out, but a quick glance at the onlookers held me back. I had to get out of there.
Honey, my legs are hurting. Can you check on them for me?
Sophie must be desperate for a guy. She'd even take down her sister. That's low.
Sophie, what have you done? Getting your attention is the worst luck.
Sophie, you'd even go after your sister. If Alpha Iris had a circle of female friends, would you lose it? Maybe Sophie could take on the whole pack. She might shred every girl that would dare hang around Alpha Iris.
You okay?
Back then, I trained in combat just for Iris, vowing that if anyone tried to take him from me, they would regret it. However, looking back, I was way out of my league.
Today, the High King makes our marriage official. Remember what I told you before. After marriage, we live separate lives. Play nice, and maybe I'll let you save some dignity in this marriage.
I was floored. How could the heir to our kind say something so outrageous?
Just keep in line. I won't let you embarrass yourself in public.
He was sure I would fall in line. Then came the sound of footsteps. The High King's right-hand man, his second-in-command, stepped out, with Damon, the werewolf, in tow. He noticed the dried blood on my face, made his way through the crowd, and stopped in front of me.
You okay?
Why do you care if that hurts? Damon, she's going to be my wife.
My heart skipped a beat. It took me back to my previous life when I was helpless, and he was there.
Sophie, what are you doing here?
He never used to call me Luna. I thought he had something against me, only to find out when it was too late that was not true at all.
Does it hurt?
Damon's voice was soft and full of concern. I looked up, and our eyes locked as a pound of bitterness hit me. I'm fine.
Why do you care if that hurts? Damon, she's going to be my wife.
The second-in-command seemed slightly startled by Iris's words. However, he shrugged it off.
Let's head in. The High King is waiting for us.
Don't forget what I told you.
He strutted away, looking smug as if he had the whole world in his pocket. The guests had all filed into the great hall, where the High King sat in the place of honor. With a warm smile, he stood, took my hand, and led me to the platform. He said, pausing to look around at everyone gathered.
Today, I have a big announcement. Sophie, my future Luna, come join me.
Sophie is 18 now. As promised to her granddad, we will choose her husband from the heirs of the 4 great clans. Whoever she marries will be next in line for my throne.
The High King's wealth was legendary, and his throne was the ultimate prize. Desire was written all over the faces of the guests.
Let's bring up the couple. I'll vouch for them myself.
All puffed up and proud, Iris was already stepping forward, ready to climb onto the stage. However, the High King stopped him with a smile and turned to Damon. Damon was far from the weakling everyone remembered. He stood tall, his gaze steady, capturing everyone's attention.
Sophie, my future Luna, come join me.
The room was abuzz with hushed voices that quickly grew louder.
Can you believe it?
Is she choosing Damon over Iris?
She's betraying Iris? No way, that can't be right. How could you pick some werewolf from the sticks? High King, there must be a mistake, right?
The High King said it clearly. Sophie has chosen Damon.
That's impossible. Sophie, tell them. You picked me, didn't you?
It was me you chose!
His eyes were desperate, as if he could not trust his own ears. I kept my voice calm.
I chose Damon.
You're into me! Everyone in the 4 great clans knows it. How could you pick some werewolf from the sticks? This has to be a mistake!
Memories came flooding back, overwhelming me like a tidal wave.
What are you waiting for? Take him away now!
The guards finally snapped to it and rushed to drag Iris off. However, Iris was not about to give up.
Sophie, come on! Tell them you chose me! Just say you made a mistake to the High King!
The second in command handed me a wooden box once more.
Sophie, this is the High King's blessing. It paves the way for your future.
I looked down at the box in my hands, knowing full well what it meant. It was the symbol of the High King's power and riches. Later, at the banquet, I looked around and did not spot Iris anywhere. As I turned, I bumped at Damon's arms, his familiar scent sending a jolt through me. Memories came flooding back, overwhelming me like a tidal wave. The agony of my previous life with Iris was inescapable. However, the real shocker? Everyone knew Damon had been through the ringer in battle. In my previous life, Iris had tankered with my meds, knocking me out with wolfboat and landing me in a clinic. Damon was frantic, begging the healer for help.
She should never have been yours!
After I died, Damon dug up a mountain of dirt on Iris and yanked him off his throne. By that time, I was just a wandering spirit. Still, Damon's bold moves shook me to the core. I could not fathom why he would go to such length for me. However, in my new life, the voice inside me was crystal clear. Marry him. The feast ticked off, and the High King called Damon to the high table. The crowd whispered among themselves. No one saw it coming. Me picking a guy the pack had written off. They all had me pegged for Iris. However, the real shocker? Everyone knew Damon had been through the ringer in battle. The wolf in him was hanging by a thread. As for his instincts, well, it was up for debate. I let out a soft chuckle, my voice steadied.
While everyone was busy gossiping, Iris, stinking of booze, bulldozed his way to the High King.
Your Majesty, you can't let them tie the hatch!
Get this drunk out of here. Don't let him make a scene.
You can't do this! Sophie and I, our wolf spirits are like magnets. We're head over heels with each other. You can't just hand her to someone else.
Wolf spirit kinship? That's news to me. Go on, tell him. Sophie.
I let out a soft chuckle, my voice steady and serene.
I'm not sure why Alpha Iris is saying that. He's like a brother to me, but his heart? It's always been set on my sister, Ruby.
Iris's lips quivered, his face a mask of disbelief as he begged me.
Zephyr, you can't do this to me. I'm the one you should be with. Sophie, I've always loved you, and no one else.
I shot back, my tone icy, saying,
Then, with a wild grin, he hissed, saying,
I get it. You're jealous. So you're using Damon to get under my skin, right? You're doing this because I gave Ruby the gift at your coming-of-age party.
I shot back, my tone icy, saying,
Alpha, Iris.
Cut the drama.
Damon and I are getting married. End of story.
Iris's face twisted in fury, and he lunged for me.
Sophie, you're meant to be mine!
Alpha, Iris, it is Thanksgiving, remember? Time and place, man. You've been turned down. Sophie's with me.
Damon's voice was a deep, unwavering growl. Iris, seething, shoved Damon aside.
You're nothing but a low-born werewolf from the sticks, and you dare talk back to me? And what if I do?
The High King slammed his scepter down hard, silencing the hall instantly.
You're barred from the royal court from this day forward. Go and think about you've done.
Iris' eyes were blazing with a furious red as he yelled.
Sophie, you've got to tell the High King it is me you're into! It is my wolf that you want to be with!
I ignored all the whispers and chatter.
I just turned and flashed Damon, a soft, reassuring smile. However, Damon hung his head like he could not bear to meet my gaze. The rumor mill was in overdrive outside.
Can you believe Iris stood up to the High King for Sophie? I heard she picked Damon. Now Iris and Sophie's sister are thick as thieves.
Man, things are heating up. It's wild, right?
I ignored all the whispers and chatter. My mind was on the future. My wedding with Damon was set for next month. Damon
had come to me a few days back. His eyes locked on mine for the longest time before he finally broke the silence.
If you're having second thoughts, I can talk to the High King, call off our engagement.
Why would I be having second thoughts?
I said, my voice steady as a rock.
I know you had a thing for Alpha Iris once.
There was a hurt in his voice that he could not quite hide.
This is my promise to you, my all.
That took me back to my previous life when Damon had gone to the ends of the earth for me.
Nearly sacrificing it all. I felt my eyes well up. Yeah, I had feelings for him once, but that's history.
Why?
He sounded like he could not believe it. I used to be so headstrong, thinking if I just held on tight enough, I could make anything happen.
I was very calm. However, I get it now. Love doesn't work like that. I had this dream, you see, where you were the one who saved me.
That was why I was so pumped the first couple of times we met.
When the mana of his ears turned a shade pinker, and he looked down.
So, you're sure about this? About marrying me?
His voice shook just a little. I nodded. A smile broke across his face, full of joy and peace he could not quite hide. He pulled a wooden box from behind his back, roughly the same size as the one the High King had given me.
This is my promise to you, my all.
He said, his voice deep and tinged with a hint of bashfulness.
If I ever let you down, I'll be left with nothing.
What if I can never fall in love with you?
After Damon finished speaking,
The room fell into a long silence. He gently pushed the wooden box toward me and took a step back, giving me enough space. It was as if a hunter had cornered his prey, only to willingly step away. No, he had never been a hunter. He was more the calm, quiet lake, waiting for me to decide whether or not to jump in.
Damon, aren't you afraid?
What if I regret it later? What if I still have someone else in my heart?
Damon didn't answer right away.
He walked to the window and pushed it open. The night breeze flowed in, bearing the sweet scent of roses from the courtyard.
Sophie, I don't need you to fall in love with me right away. It took me many years to finally stand before you. I can wait.
My nose stung with emotion.
What if I can never fall in love with you?
That's fine too. As long as you're by my side, that's enough.
I finally couldn't hold back. Tears slipped down my cheeks. In my previous life, what Iris gave me was charity, conditions, and
I'll be good to you only if you behave. But what Damon gave me was a choice.
Damon. Hold me.
He walked over slowly, wrapped his arms around my waist,
and pulled me fully into his embrace. His chin rested gently on top of my head. Through his chest, I could feel his heartbeat, fast and unsteady, nothing like the rhythm of a calm and composed man.
He kissed me slowly and deeply. He had clearly thought this through before he came. I stared at the wooden box in my hands, my heart stirring with deep emotion. The High King had been generous because of a past debt, but Damon's sincerity was something else entirely. I didn't ask. Instead, I tucked the box away carefully. Then, I unclasped the gemstone pendant my grandma had left me and placed it in his hands. Damon accepted it with reverence, cradling it gently as if it were the most precious thing in the world.
Sophie, I'll always treat you right.
His voice gentle yet resolute. The air between us grew heavy with emotion. Damon stepped closer, cupping my face with warm, steady hands. He kissed me slowly and deeply, full of quiet devotion and longing. His touch was completely different from Iris's, gentle, patient, and filled with reverence. We moved toward the bed without breaking the kiss. He laid me down carefully, his lips trailing soft, worshipful kisses along my neck and collarbone as he slowly removed my dress. His hands explored my body with tender caresses, stroking and teasing until I was trembling beneath him.
Afterward, we lay tangled. When he finally entered me, it was slow and deep, every movement filled with warmth and emotion. We moved together in a steady, intimate rhythm, foreheads pressed together, breathing each other in. For the first time in both my lives, I felt truly safe and cherished. Afterward, we lay tangled in the sheets. Damon held me close, pressing a soft kiss to my temple, his arms wrapped protectively around me. Back home, Ruby was perched by the piano in the living room. The door's noise made her whip around, shooting me a fierce glare.
Sophie, you're so sly, using Damon to get under Alpha Iris's skin. She sneered. Too bad. Alpha Iris couldn't care less about your games. And everyone knows Damon's a nobody. So what? You plan to spend your life alone if you marry him?
Her laugh was self-satisfied as she finished. Her smug face almost made my inner wolf lash out, but I kept calm.
Ah! Isn't that Alpha Iris? Miss Sophie, you've got to see this!
However, Iris did not even flinch as he brushed her aside. I rushed to the window, and there he was.
Check it out. Alpha Iris is heading this way. Rumor has it he's got a thing for Sophie.
I had not even opened my mouth when Ruby bolted toward him.
Alpha Iris, are you here for me? Her smile was dripping with sweetness. However, Iris did not even flinch as he brushed her aside. Ruby stumbled and hit the ground hard from his shove.
Sophie, be my Luna. We're meant to be together,
he said, dropping to one knee. With everyone's eyes on him, he pulled out a ring, his gaze burning with earnest passion.
The crowd went silent, all eyes glued to the surprise proposal. I felt sick to my stomach. What's going on with you? I thought Y1 was your girl.
He saw me turn to leave and quickly got to his feet, reaching out to stop me. However, Ruby yanked on his arm.
Alpha Iris.
Sophie, hold up! You must hear me out! You're the only one in my mind!
That's not what you said before. You told me once we were married, we'd lead our own lives. No meddling, I said.
I was kidding! How could I ever mean that?
His face was a mix of desperation and honesty. I might have fallen for it if I had not been through what I had in my previous life.
Ruby's tears came fast when she heard him.
Alpha Iris. How could you say those things? You told me you liked me. You said I was more beautiful and lovable than my sister. You promised to mark me. That's why
Enough!
Ruby's face was instantly marked with 5 bright red lines.
This is all your fault! If it weren't for you, why would Sophie be upset and think about pairing up with another guy?
He could not see that he was the one to blame. He acted like he was above it all, like the idea of looking back on his actions with regret was something he would never have to deal with.
I'm not lowborn! I'm not!
You think you, with your tainted blood, are worthy of me?
He had known the truth. All along he just played dumb. Sophie's high and mighty, a pure blood werewolf, through and through. You're just her half-sister, and everyone's clued in on how low your mom's bloodline ranks. You were just a fling to me. Did you really think I'd ever mark you?
Ruby's face went ghostly, a mix of pale and green. She had lived her life believing she was a true daughter of the family, with all the rights and status that came with it. However, the harsh truth of her parentage was laid bare for all to see, and the snide comments cut deep, like a blade to Ruby's heart.
I'm not lowborn! I'm not! I'm my father's real daughter!
She cried out, her voice dripping with desperation. One's voice was like ice as she sneered.
You think I'm clueless? Just look at yourself. Your looks, your intelligence, your grace. Do you see a werewolf of noble blood? All you do is strut around for attention. You're not even fit to be Sophie's maid, let alone dream of marrying me.
But I did not want to hear it. I wriggled free and slammed the door shut.
Sophie, you see? I've set her straight. There's nothing between us now. Give me another shot, okay?
I'm about to become another Pax Luna.
Sophie.
You think you're entitled to everything because of your oh-so-great bloodline?
However, there's one thing you'll never get your hands on.
And what's that?
I stood tall, my voice ringing out. A do-over. There's no magic pill for regret in this world. I raised my voice just a notch. Pretty soon, Damon and I will tie the knot, and you're totally invited to the bonding ceremony. Iris looked like he had more to say, but I did not want to hear it. I wriggled free and slammed the door shut. It felt like forever before a servant came in to tell me Iris had taken off. Ruby had even tried to visit Iris at the Carter's place, but he would not even let her pass the front door. Me? I could not care less. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Damon scooped me up in his arms like I waited. The day of the bonding ceremony dawned. I was up with the sun, getting my glam on. Damon scooped me up in his arms like I weighed nothing, and we headed for the banquet hall. I sneaked a peek at his profile. He was nothing like Iris. Iris was the textbook snotty blue blood, with that wild child vibe and a smirk that just screamed trouble. Damon was the real deal, a gentleman through and through. He was all about precision and poise. He were both the poise. His nose was like a sculpture, and his lips, sealed in a straight line, made him look serene. Some folks would call a guy like him ice cold, but I had seen him put his life on the line for me. That thought alone sent a wave of warmth through me. It was like history was repeating itself, but it was a whole new ballgame this time. Out of nowhere, the wedding car procession ground to a halt. I looked up, and there was Iris, suited up and sporting the groom's boutonniere, smack in the middle of the road. The nerve! The guy was off his reiner. His hand felt like a warm cadoon around my heart. Damon moved to get out, but I put a hand on his chest and said, "Let me deal with this mess. I want to keep things from getting too ugly." However, he grabbed my hand and said,
"We're in this together, for better or worse, whatever comes our way."
At that moment, his hand felt like a warm cadoon around my heart, and I knew I had my rock.
Iris, seeing how tight we were, just lost it even more.
Sophie! Come with me! You were always meant to be mine! I'll make you my Luna!
I could not help but laugh at the ridiculousness of the scene. Did he really think of marriage as some kind of play? He did not value what we had before, yet there he was, making a scene.
Alpha, Iris, I've made myself clear. You're welcome to watch the ceremony. But if you're here to stir up trouble, I'll have the guards escort you out.
Sophie, how can you talk to me like this? I'm the one you love the most, right?
Alpha Iris, I'll be your Luna. I'm ready to go through your marking ceremony.
I rushed to Damon's side, how has made him rangerous.
Why must you be so reckless?
You used to only worry about me. Why him?
He is my partner. Of course I'm going to be worried about him. Alpha Iris, I'll be your Luna. I'm ready to go through your marking ceremony.
Iris quickly defended himself.
Sophie, I never intended to mark her!
He turned to me, his voice barely above a whisper, as he said,
Sophie, I messed up. Please give me one more chance. I promise I'll make it up to you. I won't let you down again.
I was done listening to his empty promises.
Take him away. Let the High King deal with him.
Once I was back in the car, a healer from our entourage came over to tend to us. The good news was that the cut had not been tainted with wolfsbane. The bonding ceremony went off without a hitch. Iris got the boot, and I heard that the High King's enforcers gave him a week-long timeout to think about what he had done. As dusk settled in, the last of the party guests trickled out. His hands settled on my waist, thumbs gently stroking my sides.
You.
He said, voice low and hushy.
Always you.
Though nice to me, I whispered.
What do you mean by nice?
His voice was husky and low. You're not worried about the rumors? About marrying a girl? Damon murmured.
Ignore those gossips. I'm the lucky one here. Iris's loss is my gain.
His words felt like a gentle breeze brushing across my heart, spreading a sweet warmth inside me. His words said with a softened smile,
I have a secret to tell you. I've liked you for a very long time.
My eyes widened in disbelief.
Remember when we were kids and my parents were still alive?
We visited your house, and you were just a little over a year old, pouting and asking me for candy.
A cuter little girl in the world.
I would secretly watch you from afar. I didn't want to disturb you. But it hurt me to see you doing so much for Alpha Iris.
Then he walked in front of me, squatted down.
The roses in the garden were in full bloom. He fumbled clumsily with the ropes, pricking his hands with splinters 3 times, yet stubbornly refused to let me help.
You're pregnant. Just sit there and don't move.
Laughing so hard my stomach hurt. When the swing was finally finished, he was covered in sweat, looking like a big dog that had just finished a fight.
I sat on the swing. He pushed me gently. Sunlight leaked through the gaps in the leaves, scattering like golden fragments over us. After one. Will you always be this good to me? His movements paused. Then he walked in front of me, squatted down, and looked up at me.
That year, you were just a little over 1 year old.
Damon's voice was very soft.
You were wearing a milky white sout tress, your hair soft and fluffy, yellow like a baby wolf cub. You saw the candle in my hand, trottled over unsteadily, and said in your milky voice, "Candy." You chased after him without caring about anything.
I couldn't help but laugh. Damon smiled too, but the smile quickly faded.
Later, my parents had an accident. I was poisoned with wolfbach and treated like a useless person by everyone. I was sent to a remote village to be fostered. It was very close to your house. Every afternoon you would come out to play, chasing butterflies in the garden, climbing trees to pick fruit. I would hide behind a tree, watching you from afar.
When you were 12, you fell and squatted on the ground crying. I wanted to rush out, but I didn't dare.
Later, you stood up by yourself, wiped your tears, and limped back home. That was when I realized you were much braver than me. And then later, you fell in love with Iris.
His voice grew lower.
You chased after him without caring about anything. And everyone laughed at you. I watched those people's faces and wished I could rush out and tell them, your love deserved to be cherished, not trampled on. But I wasn't worthy. I was just a lowly werewolf from a remote village, so I could only watch you from afar. When you were happy, I watched you smile. When you were sad, I watched you cry. Do you know how much I wished that the person who could make you smile was me?
My eyes grew hot.
I've waited years for this.
But now I don't have to worry anymore.
It turned out he had been watching over me silently for so long. Fate really was unpredictable. Suddenly, a thought came to mind. I heard you were there when your parents had that terrible accident. After that, your health... I trailed off, not wanting to bring up his painful past. Damon lowered his voice and said,
If you want to know whether I'm fine, come closer and find out.
My cliques instantly flushed red. I told Tepa to groach to spake. The atmosphere between us quickly grew heaty. Damon cupped my face, his thumb gently stroking my burning cheek.
Sophie,
he whispered, his voice thick with desire.
I've waited years for this. For you.
We moved together with tenderness and passion. Damon made love to me slowly and deeply, every affection and devotion. I clung to him, soft moans escaping my lips as pleasure washed over us in waves. His strong arms wrapped protectively around me as he pressed gentle kisses to my forehead and temple. The High King ready to pass the torch, and Damon was...
Look, forget the small stuff. Just make sure you take care of those misfits so the regular folks can put food on their table.
The High King had said when his time was running out. Ruby was a no-show at... Curious. I asked her wondered after Iris ditched her. Our dad had her sent to a sanatorium, but she escaped without a trace. Did a number on me. He froze. Maybe a lone wolf, poor thing. Then, Wits 2 wanted to hold down the fort at the border. So, following the High King's last wishes, one doled out some land to him. Post-split, Iris went wild. By day, he would scout the border. By night, he would dive into the high life. Then, one day, he came looking for Damon. The guards stopped him at the gate, but I bumped into him while on an errand. His hair was messy, his face scruffy, and he said he needed a word with me.
Sophie, I'm actually your husband. We tied the knot in my previous life, and it was bliss.
I could not help but snicker.
Bliss, why didn't you mention how you poisoned me? You really did a number on me. He froze, and his face paled.
How did you know?
So, you've been reborn too. That must be why you dare face Damon again. I did not give him another glance. I strode straight for the castle gates. As they shut behind me, the muffled sounds of the guards hauling him away echoed faintly. Then, out of nowhere, a shout pierced the air.
Good heavens! There's been an accident! Iris got slashed with a dagger laced with some kind of silver toxin.
I did not look back. My steps did not falter. The heavy gates closed behind me, shutting out the noise. He stood inside, backlit by the light, silent. He reached out his hand to me. I placed my hand in his palm.
Let's go home.
I nodded. I will come back. Mother's Reagan trembled. That night, my mother came to the castle. Her face looked pale and strained, and she clutched a letter tightly in her hand, her fingertips turning white. Sergeant One, your sister. Ruby, what happened to her? Mother handed me the letter. It was sent from the psychiatric sanatorium where Ruby had been confined. The letter said that Ruby had escaped last night during the nurse's shift change. Before she left, she had used her nails to carve her line of words. I will come back. Mother's Reagan trembled.
Her mind is already unstable. She speaks incoherent. The doctors say she keeps repeating two sentences. I am the true daughter of the family. The other is... And I want Sophie to experience what it feels like to have nothing.
I remained silent for a long time. Is there any clue? Is there any clue?
Someone near the sanitarium saw her get into a carriage heading north. According to the coachman's description, she said she was going to seek shelter with someone who will always accept her.
Someone who will always accept her? I repeated the words, a thought flashing through my mind, but I quickly suppressed it. It no longer mattered. Wherever Ruby went, it was her own choice. Mom, stop looking for her. She hates me to the bone. Even if we find her, nothing good will come of it. Just let her go. If she really wants to come back, she will appear on her own. Mother opened her mouth. The window had sunk below the horizon, but the sky was not yet completely dark. It was still glowing.
Border news arrived. The messenger guard knelled in the hall, his voice trembling.
Alpha Iris has been crippled. The silver toxin from the dagger has sloughed into his bone marrow. His wolf soul is completely shattered. He can never shift again. Serves him right.
The hall fell silent for a moment. Someone whispered softly. I said nothing. I lowered my head and stared at the hot tea Damon had just poured for me. Steam rose in curls, blurring my vision, swallowing my last breath in utter despair. Where was Iris at that time? He was in Ruby's bed.
After he regained consciousness, he kept calling your name. The imperial physician said his mind is also broken, sometimes lucent, sometimes delirious. When he's clear-headed, he curses Ruby, saying she ruined him and incited everything. When he's confused, he cries and calls for you.
Calls me what? The guard hesitated.
He calls you, come back.
Dob 2 took my hand, his thumb gently stroking the back of it. I remained silent. Let him shout then. Shout until his voice goes haunts. Shout until he can shout no more. This is what I owed myself in the previous life, and it is exactly what he deserves. Startled from the dream, our child was born. It was a girl. She had my eyes and his mouth. His hands were shaking when he held her for the first time. Such a big man stood by the bed, carefully cradling such a tiny bundle, afraid to move at all.
She's so small.
Why are you crying?
I'm not crying.
He was clearly crying. On the day of our daughter's 1-month celebration, a banquet was held in the palace. There was still no news of Ruby. Some said she had gone mad, some said she had gone far away,
Others said she was already dead. I didn't care. Iris sent a congratulatory gift, a pure gold cradle bell, along with a letter. Took the letter away. I never saw it again. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I still dream of my previous life from Nodig Herfis Lif, the Logong Tiert door, the bitter medicine, the chill that never left my shoast. But every time I wake up startled from the dream, warmth is beside me. Damon's arm is always wrapped around my waist, his steady breathing brushing against the back of my neck.
Had another nightmare.
His voice was sleepy, yet he was already pulling me closer into his embrace.
It's okay. I'm here.
I closed my eyes and listened to his heartbeat. All the hatred, resentment from my previous life and sank completely. Winnowi Belin. And Dissination, I shenza the writing. Juyunhu Swetzlaw, run they to trap their old dreams. Fending, I will never look back.